Hi, I'm Carolyn Priester Jones, and today marks the beginning of a new adventure, and I'd like to invite you to come along. In August 2015, I published a book called If You Only Knew Who I Am. And it's a book about God's incredible love, all the way from the dawn of creation down to our present time and into the future. And this is the next step, a video series. I'd like to share with you some of the answers that I got in my unceasing questions for God. You know, I've always been a why child. Even when I was a child, I had unending questions. Why is this? Why is that? Why do you do this? Why can't I do that? And as I got older, it seemed like the questions just got more and more. And I had unending questions for God. And so I didn't actually think that He would answer anyone in this day and age. And I especially didn't think He would answer me personally. But I tried different things to figure out if He was talking, what He might say. So I asked people that I consider very spiritual people my questions for God. Well, fortunately, some of those people didn't try to put their own spin on it, but they referred me directly to the Bible. Well, I studied the Bible. And there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that just doesn't make sense. I actually ended up with more questions than I had answers. But one day, I came across this absolutely amazing verse in the Bible. Reading Jeremiah 33:3, God said, "Call to me, and I will answer you." Now notice, He didn't just say, "I will answer," and you had to wonder who He would answer. He said, "I will answer you." Not only that, He said, "I will tell you great and mysterious things you don't know." Well, that was absolutely amazing. So He said, "Call to Him." Well, I thought I had done plenty of that already. Hello out there. Are you there? So I looked a little further, and He said, "I will answer you." So He said He would answer, not just somebody else. He said He would answer me. And wow, the next part, the thought of getting to know great and mysterious things that I don't know, that sounds really good. So I thought about how to call to Him, since I thought I was already doing that. I figured that calling to Him must mean praying. So I tried more of that. I tried to pray really hard. Well, I didn't get it. Nothing happened. So I knew I must be missing something. So I tried praying even harder and longer, and I tried different prayer positions. Nothing. I felt like I was just saying, "God, it's your move." Well, after enough time passed and nothing, finally I decided that if I went to God's office and talked to Him more personally about what I needed, well, surely He would make good on His promise to answer me. So I went prepared. I figured God would be very busy, what with the world to run and all that. And of course, the people here on earth aren't making it any easier for Him. So I went prepared. I am a list maker. I'm very organized. And so I did what I do best. I made a list. I had all my questions for God all written out, all nice, neat, and organized. Starting with, well, maybe some of the things on my list you might have wondered about too. Why do bad things happen to good people? Why is there suffering? Why is there no peace on earth? Well, I had my list, and as long as I was going to see God, actually there were a few things that I needed. And again, being very organized, I thought I would just put it together for him. This is what I need. This is what you need to do. And that would just, all he'd have to do pretty much is just sign off on it. And so I did that. Now, some of the things that I need lots of money. Well, what could he do for me? He can fix it so I win the lottery. I also need to be beautiful. Well, God, you made me. Do it better this time. I need not to have a nasty boss. God, fire him. So it was all a done deal. I went very prepared. And I took my very organized list to God's office. The church. That is God's office, isn't it? And so I went and I left my questions and I left my requests, assuming that God would get right on it. Now, I knew he was busy, but everybody needs deadlines, even God. So I included when I needed it. Now. And then I didn't hang around because I got out of his way so he could get right to work. Now think about it. Isn't that the way most of us pray? We tell God what we want. We tell him what he needs to do to fill the order. And we tell him when we want it, when we need it. Now. And, oh yeah, we don't hang around to see if he's going to say anything right then. We want him to go to work on our request. And then we wait expectantly. Well, I did that. Nothing. I did not understand. I did everything right, said the right language, did the right kind of praying, even made a trip to his office, gave him my list. I did everything I could. So I didn't understand why no response. But this is the electronic age. And so I decided I would send him a priority email. Yo, God, just checking in to see how you're doing with my request. I waited. Nothing. But, not to be outdone, I sent him a text message. Hey friend, remember me? More time passed. Nothing. So, finally, I had had enough. It was obvious he was going to have to be poked in person. So, I went back to see him. I waited in his waiting room. I wasn't alone. It was crowded with people waiting for answers from God. Hey, you look familiar. Didn't I see you there? Well, I'm not sure whether I dreamed it or whether God was actually there. But it seemed like while I was in the waiting room, there he was. He was coming towards me and he was speaking to me. He's speaking to me. However, he simply said,
"Did you bring the map?"
Well, I didn't know what he was talking about. He explained that he already had all the answers I needed written down in a book. And he said this book had directions to show me how I could get from where I was, clearly the state of confusion, to someplace I would want to be, that he called real life. And he handed this book to me. Now, I looked this over and I saw that it was the Bible. And I told him I was very familiar with the Bible. It was a very nice history book. I told him the stories were interesting and some of them illustrated good points. And of course, he nodded in agreement. But I said, you know, God, there's a lot of stuff in there that just doesn't make sense. And there are things that contradict each other. And he wrinkled his brow. And I said, besides that, some very spiritual people can take the same verse out of this book and they can come up with different things. They don't even agree on it when they're reading the same thing. Well, he was quiet for a few minutes, and then he spoke again, kind of quietly and lovingly.
You say you have read some of my book? That's good. I wrote this book for you. What does it say to you?
I was getting irritated. He had the book written. He should know it wasn't about me. It's a history book. I'm here. I'm in this time, right now. I'm not in history.
I can tell we will have to start from the beginning. Sit down. Let me tell you a few of those great and mysterious things. Take notes.
And I did take notes. And I was absolutely amazed at the things God shared with me. This episode has been about questions for God. The next episode will be about God's answers. I'm Carolyn Priester Jones. Please subscribe to our channel so you can continue the journey with us. See you next time.